Welcome to the TikTok podcast. The clock is always ticking, so let's synchronize our watches and dive in. I'm your host, Callie Brigham, and I'm here to help you make time for what matters. Hi, friend. Okay, this is going to be a first for the TikTok podcast. Do you like firsts? This is the first time that after I wrote the podcast, which I just kind of outline it and then I just talk, just wherever the spirit leads. But after I wrote it and recorded it, there was just something in my spirit that said, I think I might need to re-record it and change it. So I sat on it for a couple of days, and then I was at an all-day event with some strategists and coaches that I work with. They work with me. And it wasn't even about this podcast episode, but in working through some of the other things on how I can make my business even more mission-minded and reach and influence and touch and support more of people just like you, I thought, Eureka, I've got it. I know now why, and here's the deal. The intention of this podcast is to help set you up for success for the new year. And I know that if you're listening in real time, we are right in the thick of it. Like if there is a thickest part of the thick of it, we are in it. And that is because we are really just right there, right before Christmas, right before the holidays. Probably there are either suitcases being packed for you, or you've got air mattresses you're blowing up, or a little bit of both if you're me. I realized, by the way, that from Thursday before Christmas, so I believe that's the 19th of December, so a couple days after this podcast airs, from Thursday through Monday, January 13th, I'm not going to be alone. Like all by myself at my house or anywhere alone. We have family coming in, and my niece and her fiance are coming in first. Then sister-in-laws and brother-in-laws, other nieces and nephews, everyone's descending upon us. How great. If you watch YouTube, the couch behind me turns into actually a very comfy pull-out couch. You don't want it to be too comfy, right? You don't want them to stay forever. No, I love them. So they're coming through Christmas. And then the day after Christmas, our family is leaving, going to South Florida to be with Grandma Deedle and the rest of the family at her ripe old age of 100 and over a half. And then I leave for a conference when I get home. And then when I get back, I will have that first Monday where I'm all by myself. Oh my goodness, that is a long time. So here we are in the thick of it. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you have it even more crazy. Maybe you're just toning it down just a notch, but still, I get it. I feel it. I'm right there with you. So as I was thinking, but I want to prepare you. I want to set you up for success in this new year. I don't want January 1st to come and you think, oh, now I've got to start my new habits. Now I've got to get my time under control. Now I'm going to be the person that I said I was going to be. Maybe last January 1st, right? Before a life came in. So in order to prepare you for that, I was ready with a lot of content. And here's the deal. I was ready with too much content. It was too much. I wanted to give you everything. And I think that was one of the things I learned. I want to give you everything. I just want to open up my brain. I want to pour it into your brain. I want to give you everything I learned in over 2 decades of working with ambitious women, with being one myself, with going through all the seasons. And frankly, it was too much. You can't handle it. I can't handle it. None of us can handle it. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to go there. Let me crack my knuckles. Let me do some shoulder rolls. Maybe some squats, some deep breaths. So we are going to do this. But what I'm going to do is I'm only going to gloss over the first couple points And I think I'm going to spend a little bit more time with those in our Facebook community. It is a free community, open to everybody. The link is in the show notes. You can DM me if you need to. And we might do a little bit more work in that community on these things so that I can save this podcast for those of you that are like, I cannot handle very much at all. I'm sort of at the last string on the bottom knot that I'm hanging on to. Got it? Over a cavern of lava. All right. So I will say what they are in case you want to extend a little bit more time and thought process if you have the capacity to do that. And if not, it's fine. It's all good. Of course, first, we do want to look back with some gratitude and not guilt. I like to say that we are human becomings, right? We're not there yet. And that first part, of course, is the reflection. So we're going to reflect back on 2024. Going to take a little bit of time. I have some questions that I will share in our community in case you need some prompts. Sometimes you need some prompts. Sometimes you need to celebrate the ahas. Sometimes you need to realize, okay, I wasn't perfect, but I did notice some patterns and some progress, even in the messy moments, that I can celebrate, that I can honor. It's not looking back with any kind of guilt, like I said, or shame there. It is just taking some time to say, all right, this is what this year was all about. The second thing that we'll work on a little bit in our community is what we want to let be. So I know that a lot of people say, let it go. I get it. I'm a little bit more of a let it be kind of girl. So a little less Elsa, let it go, and a little more Beatles, let it be. Okay, got it. That's all the singing you're going to get here. I mean, I do have the mic, but still. We're going to talk about what we're going to let be and let stay in 2024. What are we going to leave behind? Thank it for being part of everything because we either got stronger, we either learned from it, we either realized that we outgrew it, or maybe it was something that was unhealthy for us, right? So first, reflection is important. Second is, what am I going to leave there? What am I going to let it be there? Then what we're going to do is we're going to start moving forward. All right. So again, I will share some of these things in our community. So make sure you just join in there in case this is kind of kind of gets your blood pumping and you're excited and you're like, I need this and I need a little bit of pen to paper and I need a little bit of intention. But the third one is really setting the stage for your next year. And I really want you to start to think less about resolutions because that is only usually powered by discipline. And most people do not have enough gas in that tank to keep them going the duration. We can be disciplined for a short amount of time, right? I remember when I worked at the TV station, I basically lived there. I lived at the TV station. And it was one thing. And I sat at most of the day at a desk all day. I mean, I have to get up here and there, but I was basically tied to this desk. And right across from the desk was sort of a communal table, and people would put food there. They would put sweets there. And I don't have to have a cookie or a piece of cake at 8 o'clock in the morning. Maybe not even 9 o'clock in the morning. I mean, who knows, by 10 o'clock. Maybe not even at 10 o'clock. But when it's sitting there all day, I'm finally like, fine, I deserve it, right? It was the worst. It was the worst that it was right within reaching distance, okay? So what I mean by that is that discipline can only go so far. We're not going to have to be disciplined into resolutions in the new year, but we do need to set the stage, maybe with some time boundaries, with some intentions, and I have some new things coming out for you in the new year. So excited. Stay tuned. And we are going to work on what that looks like, especially with something called the word of the year. And if that's something that you are crazy about, I know you can't wait to tune in at the beginning of the year. If it's something that you sort of are like, feels a little weird to me, a little woo-woo, not really my thing, I've tried it before, then I just would ask one request. Give me one Christmas gift this year that you will press play on the first Tuesday in January, and you'll listen to that so that we can move away again from a resolution, right? And that discipline into something that I think will help you feel more empowered and aligned and a little bit more focused on your priorities. Okay, so I really was going into depth with those things, but here's the deal. What I want for the next couple of weeks for you to create some momentum for is to ditch the idea of having to start strong in the new year. And I want you to embrace the idea of starting small now. Now, again, the holidays are in full force. They still are. But what if you could start now so that you have a leg up on the new year? How does that sound? Let me tell you a story. It's one of my favorites. I think it was about a year ago, and we were out for a family bike ride. Well, it probably wasn't a year ago because it wasn't super cold, even in Northwest Florida. So maybe 6 months ago, we were out for a bike ride, the four of us. So Braeden, Maddy, my husband, and myself. And it will be of no surprise to any of you that when we started out on the bike ride, Maddy wanted to be in the lead, if you know her. So as we started out, it was Maddy, and then Braeden, and then myself, and then my husband. Now, we live on Pensacola Beach, and it is flat. I mean, it's at sea level, right? So Gulf of Mexico level, whatever you want to say, but it is flat. So depending on which way the wind is going, that definitely contributes to the bike ride and the ease or the difficulty of it. I can promise you that. But other than the wind, it is flat. So there's not really any elevation except for one hill. Now, those of you that live in actual hilly and mountainy places are going to laugh at our hill, but it is still a hill. So we leave, we go on the bike ride, we go down the hill, which is really fun, really easy. Like we put your legs off the pedals and just like fly down it, right? So everybody does it. It's great. We hit our halfway point and we turn around to come home. And again, because I have two kids and it's always like, whose turn is it? Even as teenagers, I know, even as they grow up, I know. Whose turn is it? And Braeden is now going to be in the lead on the way home. So now picture it, Braeden, Maddy, me, and Josh. So we start going flat, flat, flat. Everybody's doing their thing, whatnot. We start to get close to the hill. So we can see it. Okay, it's coming. And all of a sudden, I hear Maddy yell out to Braeden, Braeden, speed up. Speed up now. It's gonna make the hill easier. I mean, I about stopped my bike right then and there, pulled out my phone and put it in the notes section because I didn't want to forget it. And trust me, I've never forgotten it since then. And that's what he did. And that's what she did. And that's what I did. And that's what Josh did. And we sped up before we got to the hill. And it really made the hill not that hard. So that's what I want you to do in these next couple of weeks. I just want you to pick up the pace a little bit. I mean, it's not like we were even sweating it. We just started to move a little faster in an area. And then when that hill came, so that I don't want you to wake up on January 1st and then think, okay, I got to change everything. I didn't do the things I wanted to last year. So here it goes. I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. I'm going to do it. Okay. No, I mean, you might the first day, but you're probably going to be exhausted. You're probably going to be tired. And then you'll think, you know what? Actually, Monday's a great day. Oh, wait, the kids don't start till 2. Okay, next Monday. We're going to be in the same place. But guess what? Starting now makes the hill easier. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, I don't know, maybe 8 things that are little bitty things, little bitty tweaks, little bitty wins, little bitty habits that I want you to pick one of them. So I give you 8, pick one that you could start now on a random Tuesday before Christmas. Or if you're listening later, on a random Thursday afternoon in between Christmas and New Year's. I don't even know what day that's going to be, but you know what I mean. All right. So here they are in no particular order. Here are just a few quick ideas. Number 1 is a daily top 3 habit, or frankly, a top 1 habit or a top 2 habit. So every morning or the night before, I'll get to that in a second, you're going to write down 1, 2, or 3 most important tasks that you want to accomplish that day. If you're in the company that I work with, then we have a 6 most important list, but we're not, no. I mean, sometimes 6 feels like 6,000, 600, 6 million. Just 1 or 2 or 3 at the most. At the most. Why it works is focusing on just 1, 2, or 3 priorities helps you feel accomplished and you avoid overwhelm. And even if the rest of the day gets chaotic, and spoiler alert, it will, you'll know that you've tackled the most important matters most. So how do you start now? How do you start today? Maybe you have a small notebook. Maybe you have a sticky note. Maybe I use the note section on my phone like a crazy person. Maybe you use that just to jot down the 3 tasks each day. I will say there's something magical about checking something off, marking through something, deleting something, highlighting something, whatever. So you could say, you know what? I am going to commit to 1 thing a day. Well, guess what? If you do that for the 2 or 3 weeks leading up to the new year, think about how much, that's 20, 25 most important things you will have gotten done if you just do 1 a day. Okay, number 1. Number 2, a micro productivity tip that you've heard me talk about is the while I'm here. So what does that mean? Train yourself to add 1 small task to your routine while you're already doing it. For example, while you're making your morning coffee, check your grocery list or unload the dishwasher because it's right there in the kitchen while that pot or that cup is brewing. That is a while I'm here. Why it works? Because when you piggyback tasks, it saves you time and it reduces procrastination. So how do you start now? Pick 1 activity and add a complementary task to it. All right, so review. Number 1 is a daily habit, 1, 2, or 3. Number 2 is while I'm here. Number 3, please hear my heart. Let's move our Sunday planning. Unless it's working for you, but for most people it's not. Let's move our Sunday planning. I do mine on Friday, so find your Friday. And I want you to spend 15 to 20 minutes every Friday, especially if that works for you, planning the week ahead. So what do? You meal plan, you brain drain. You can always find that downloadable, printable in the show notes. You map out what you're going to delegate that week and why it works. Starting your weekend with a clear head reduces the Sunday scaries. It sets you up for a success time on Monday, and it's going to make you really love your weekends. So how do you start now? You pick a consistent time on Friday. It's the last thing I do before I leave my office space. And I review and I plan and I use my printable. And that's what I do. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, maybe you're going to pick up the 2-minute rule. And the 2-minute rule is if it takes 2 minutes or less, do it right now. Do it right now. Why does it work? Tackling those quick tasks right away prevents them from piling up and overwhelming you later. So practice this with emails or dishes or replying to text messages. That's number 4. Number 5, boundaries on your calendar. That we call this time blocking, but you're time blocking your boundaries. What? Time blocking your boundaries. So maybe that is a lunch break for yourself, family time for yourself. Maybe like for me, I'm thinking, okay, in a month and a half, I'm going to block that out for time with me. I will find it though. Don't you worry. And this works because you're protecting your time and you're not overcommitting or burning out. So look at your calendar now for the rest of the week and add a do not disturb block of time just for you. And maybe you can only find 15 minutes, but find it. Number 6, have an evening brain drain. Now this is, I know, of course, I teach you like a weekly one, but maybe you just got to get it out of your head. This was so funny. I was at my kids' piano recital and I was talking to one of the other moms prior to, and we were talking about how stressful it is to be the parent of the performer, right? And she said that there was a recital 2 nights before. Our school's too big. They have too many kids, so they break it into 2. And she was talking to one of the boys the next morning, and she said, how did it go last night? He said, well, I didn't play until the very end, so I had to sit there while everybody else is playing and question my life choices. He's in 5th grade. Who's questioning his life choices in 5th grade? But that is what your brain does before you go to sleep. You question everything, including your life choices. So maybe you just need 5 minutes to write down all your thoughts, your tasks, your worries. It clears your mind. It reduces stress, helps you sleep better, helps you wake up clearer. So maybe you just have a notebook by your bed, or our friend Michaela, Own Your Night. Go grab hers if you want that. Maybe give yourself an early Christmas present. Okay, just 2 more. See, I told you when I did all the other stuff, this was a lot, but I'm going to review them and I want you to pick one thing. Number 7 is a 5-minute daily declutter. Okay, so you're going to set a timer every day for 5 minutes and tidy up one area. That's it. Can't keep going. No 6-minute, no 10-minute. You can, but 5 minutes. A clean space. Oh man, it improves your focus, reduces your stress. So how do you start now? Choose a drawer. Always heard from my girl, Emily, choose something that you don't have any emotional attachment to. Choose a drawer, a countertop. I mean, it could even be your email inbox if you need it to. And then number 8, last choice is 1 yes, 1 no. What that is for every new commitment or opportunity, say no to something else. It's like your closet, right? You get a new shirt in, you gotta get a shirt out. Easier said than done. But it keeps you manageable and it ensures that you're prioritizing what matters. So how do you start now? You agree. Before you agree to something, you take a breath and you decide if it's worth your time or energy. That's it. You just decide. If I say yes to this, then I'm going to say no to something else, and vice versa. And vice versa. Okay. So again, there's a lot of reflection. We're going to do some of that in the Facebook community, but most importantly, the hill is coming. The hill of 2025. It's a beautiful view when you get to the top of the hill, trust me. But we're going to start now. We're going to speed up now to make the hill easier. Are you going to pick a daily top habit? Are you just going to start the while I'm here? Are you going to weekly plan on a different day, preferably Fridays? A 2-minute rule. Have a boundary time block. Maybe an evening brain drain. 5-minute daily declutter, or 1 yes, 1 no. So your time is your foundation for everything. Everything you want to be, everything you want to do, everything you want to have. So as you and I step into 2025, let's make a pact. Pinky promise, pinky swear, that we're going to spend it intentionally and joyfully and unapologetically on what truly matters. So thank you. Let me say you've been one of the greatest gifts ever. You're beautifully packaged with bright ribbons and bows, and I've loved it. I've loved unwrapping and unpacking this year with you, so thank you for that. I am so excited as for what's to come at the beginning of the year. There's going to be some teases, some freshness, just you wait, some new inspiration, really great. And if you are ready to speed up like double time, like an electric bike here, then I would suggest that you book a free call to see if time management mentoring in the new year is for you. So here we go. Here's to you. Here's to a year of embracing progress over perfection, leaning into our priorities, making space for the moments that matter most. Let's you and I make 2025 the year that we truly own our time and we love how we are spending it. We're going to take the next 2 weeks as a break. So I will see you in January of 2025. Cannot wait. All right. God bless you. Let's do this. Let's speed up. That hill's coming and the view is amazing. Thank you for joining me on the TikTok podcast. Please subscribe, rate, and leave a 5-star review. Your feedback fuels our mission to help you master your time. Set your alarm for our next episode, and until then, make every moment count.